Guys, there are spoilers for this film and this review. So if you just want to eat your pie in peace, watch the film, then come back. You have been warned.
Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ronan Time HD. So yeah, this is going to be a great time.
Hey guys, and welcome back to an episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ronan Time HD, and this week we watched Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which is the new Gore Verbinski film, directed by him at least, who is most famous, at least to me, for doing the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy, who has been, I guess, on a hiatus for over maybe like at least 10 years, which is crazy. And I'm going off sci-fi. It is a sci-fi comedy starring Sam Rockwell, and I will say this film was exhilarating, right? I guess since, yeah, he made the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, but it's so good. It's really late, but it really woke me up. But before I go on a whole tangent, why I really like this one, I'll tell you why and more back at the house.
The revolution begins tonight!
Good luck, have fun, don't die.
Excuse me?
I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. You're in for a really weird night.
Hey guys, and welcome back to an episode of Ticket Tuesday, Sunday edition. I'm your host, Ronan Time HD, and this week we watched Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, directed by Gore Verbinski, written by Matthew Robinson. This film is starring, Sam Rockwell, Haley Lou Robinson, Juno Temple, Michael Pena, Zazie Beetz, Asim Chowdhury, I'm very sorry, I might have mispronounced that, and Georgia Goodman. I believe those are all the important names. And this film is a time travel, science fiction, comedy, like dystopian future, whatever. I'll put all the buzzwords in there. And it is also Gore Verbinski's first film in like 10 years. Which, if you don't know Gore Verbinski, you probably do, you just don't recognize his name. He did The American Ring. He did the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. He did other stuff too. I can't name those off the top of my head, but he is a pretty damn good director, right? Like, he's got a pretty good catalog, and I think this film is another good addition to that catalog because, man, is this movie really enjoyable. I think that, in general, this movie is probably one of the most original comedies I've seen in a long time, right? And I think it's also probably one of the most engaging comedies I've seen in a long time. Now, I've seen a lot of great comedies over the past year. I love comedies. I think it's one of my favorite genres. But one thing I love about some comedies is that they can get really crazy with it, right? And this film absolutely gets crazy with it. There's a bunch of weird shit in this movie, and I love that. I love that shit. I love when comedies just think outside the box, and they're just like, okay, what's the craziest thing that I can do, right? Okay, what's the weirdest thing that I can put into this movie and somehow make it make sense, right? And I think this movie just has that in spades. I've seen, like, I don't know, I've seen a lot, maybe not a lot, but I've seen, like, a lot of praise for this movie. No, yeah, I have seen a lot of praise. It's generally well received, and I'm just happy to see that, because I'm glad to see more creative films like this being supported. I really hope it makes its budget back, because it only had a $20 million budget. That's what I'm fucking talking about. This is the kind of movie you could make on a $20 million budget. You don't need to spend fucking $300 million on random bullshit in a movie. You can make a good movie with a smaller budget, right? I don't know, that was a little side tangent that I went on. I just wish people wouldn't spend so much money on movies, and then they would, like, not make their money back because they spent way too much fucking money on it. It's a whole thing. Either way, I think, getting back to the movie, I just think that it was an incredibly fun time. I went to see this movie. This is a really late showing, right? It was like, it started at like 10:30, right? It was a really late start time, and I was pretty exhausted. But dude, at the end of the movie, I'm like, holy shit, I'm fucking awake. I'm wide awake, right? This shit, it was just so exciting, right? And I'm not gonna talk about the ending right now, but I'm gonna say that ending was perfect. I couldn't have thought of a better ending. Like, that ending was amazing. But before I get into that, how about I talk about the premise? Now, obviously, I think it's kind of unfortunate. I don't think this film has gotten advertised enough. Or maybe it has, and I just haven't seen it. But I just really hope this movie makes its budget back, because the premise itself is super original. It's essentially about Sam Rockwell. He's like the star of the show, right? He steals it. He's the best character in the movie, in my opinion. I think he's Sam Rockwell. He's usually great in everything he's in, but especially in this, he is obviously the highlight. But essentially, he goes into a diner, right? And he takes people hostage, and he's like, hey, so I'm from the future, and everything's gone to shit, and I'm here to fix everything, and this is the 117th time I've done this, and I'm gonna need a group of you people to help me on my mission to save the world from AI, to save us from from us being like mindless drones, right? That's essentially what he's doing, and he gets a ragtag group of random fucking people to go on what is essentially a suicide mission to save the world from our evil AI overlords, right? And that's a pretty original premise, I'm not gonna lie. I've never really heard, I mean, obviously, like, the evil AI thing isn't original, but, like, the thing surrounding it is. Like, it's just so wacky, and yet it's still, like, it's really easy to get invested, because I think one thing that the film does really well is that it incorporates, like, it's kind of non-linear, right? Because it'll occasionally cut out from, now, from what the main characters are doing, to, it'll cut to, like, a couple days or in the past to see a bit of their backstory, right? And see what they were up to, say what they were doing. And then, obviously, when you see their backstory, you know more about them. You know more about their characters. You get more invested in it. And it's really well done. And overall, it's just really funny. Like, I think also the commentary in it is, like, not too in your face, but I think it's just right to the point where it's funny and also pretty potent, right? Like, there's a whole thing where they're, like, cloning kids, right? Like, so there's a whole thing where there's, like, an alarm, like, Michael Pena and Zazie Beetz, they're, like, working at a school as teachers, and there's, like, while they're just on their lunch break, there's an alarm that rings for a school shooting, right? It happens so often that they have an alarm for it, right? And then there's a thing for the parents that lose their children in school shootings. They can go to like a company that brings them back as like a mindless robot, right? That gives them apple juice advertisements all the time, right? It's like, hey, I'm thirsty. I could have some with apple tea. He's like, it's only 70 calories, this and that, right? And of course, one of our characters is basically, not basically, she is taken advantage of emotionally because she had just lost her son. And of course, she was very broken up about it. And of course, there's a scene where she, like, goes to a meeting of, like, parents who had these clones, and one of them said, oh yeah, we had it 4 times. And she's like, oh, you lost four of your children in a school shooting, that's terrible. I'm like, oh, no, same child. Same child. We just brought him back a couple more times. They died in one school shooting, brought him back, and then we lost the clone, and we lost him, and then we lost him again. And then they said, but, after a while, we just started having fun with it. We made her, really tall. We made her Muslim. She just cracks us up all the time. It's not like it's hurting anybody. We're just having a grand old time, right? And it kind of reminded me of how some, AI bros talk about AI. It's not hurting anybody. We're just having fun here, right? When it is actually really hurting the environment and it's not really that funny or entertaining at all. It's just kind of exploitative. Not kind of, it is exploitative. But I did like that, how it kind of paralleled how actual people who love AI talk about it. I thought that was a nice tongue-in-cheek. I liked that little clever dialogue. There are a lot of other references and a lot of other dialogues that I really enjoyed, but I'd rather you just go out and watch the film for yourself, and maybe you be the judge. But I myself found it incredibly enjoyable. And there's just a lot of scenes like that in the film where it draws parallels to the real world, but it's not too in your face to where it's super cynical. I mean, it kind of is cynical because it's everybody's a mindless zombie who just looks at their phone all day and doesn't interact with anything. But are they really wrong? Obviously, we're not literal clones that are being mind controlled by the government and also by an evil corporation. Well, not yet anyway. Who knows what the future brings? Who the fuck knows anymore? But I think obviously this film being a wacky comedy film, it still has that light-hearted nature to it, where it still feels like you could still enjoy it just by it being a generally really funny movie. However, obviously these are big spoilers, so just warning, I'm going to talk about the ending because it's one of my favorite parts about the movie. I know I've tried to avoid talking about it, but I just can't not talk about it, so just warning here. Okay, anyway, the ending is essentially everything's going great. So essentially, Sam Rockwell, he had this drive. So the whole movie, Sam Rockwell is trying to get this thumb drive, which is a protection software for if you plug it into the AI, so it won't go off the rails, so it won't do the crazy shit that it does in the future. And the whole movie, he's trying to plug that into the system, and that's his whole goal, that's his objective, that's his mission, right? But eventually, at the end of the movie, through all the chicanery, all of the ups and downs, they get there and they plug it in, right? And it seems like all is well. The AI is defeated, right? And it's all good. It's a happy day. The day is won, until Sam Rockwell goes, something ain't right. And then he's like, I'm sorry. And then he turns to Ingrid's character and he goes, I'm sorry. You're gonna save the world, but not this one. And then he presses so he has a button that he says is a detonator, but it's actually his a teleporter to send him back to the future. Back to the future. Stupid. Anyway, and that line was so good, and then it's revealed that the entire ending of the movie wasn't actually real. It was just inside the game, inside the simulation. The AI was controlling the whole narrative, and that entire timeline is fucked. Right? And Sam Rockwell figured it out, and he's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And then, everything went to shit. The zombies were back, and there was a giant centaur kitten abomination that pissed glitter. Don't question it. It's just the movie. Don't question it. And that ending was amazing, because it's that gotcha, it kind of felt like a horror movie, because at the end of a horror movie, it never has a happy ending. A horror movie can't have a happy ending. This isn't a horror movie at all, but it gave me those vibes. But it's kind of not like a horror movie, because at the end there's hope, because again, it starts exactly like it began. You know what they say, great stories end where they begin. So it's right back at the diner, and he's got a new plan. Now the thumb drive, Ingrid, the one of the members of the group, she has something in her blood that makes her allergic to technology. So he had a new idea. He's gonna infuse her blood with rats and have it infect everyone in the world, so that everyone is allergic to technology, and so that the AI can't have its uprise because nobody can use technology anymore. So, obviously, then the movie starts where it began. He's right back where he started, and he's doing it for the 118th time. Let's run it back. And it's so great. I love it so much. And even if the movie doesn't have a sequel, which would really sadden me because it leaves it completely open for a sequel. Even if it doesn't, the ending is still perfect because it's like, do they do it? Do they stop the AI menace? Or does he run it back 119th time? Who knows? Right? I guess it's up for the audience unless they make a sequel. Who's to say? Either way, I just thought that ending was amazing. And I couldn't think of a better ending. I was just like, amazing. Loved it. Mwah. Magnifique. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Either way, if you couldn't tell, I love this movie and I would absolutely recommend it. If you're a fan of comedies, if you're a fan of time travel movies, you know, time travel movies are a good niche. I love me a good time travel movie. Or if you're just like a fan, I guess, of social commentary, I think this film has pretty potent, pretty effective social commentary in there. So I think there is a lot to offer you if you're looking for that sort of thing. But even then, it's just a great comedy. That being said, though, I'm gonna stop rambling. I'm gonna get on to the rating. What would I rate this film? I think I would rate this film a 8 out of 10. And yeah, I think that's all I need to say. Thank you for my piece. So guys, I hope you like this video. Share it with friends. Subscribe. Turn those notifications on. Comment down below on how much you liked it. And I've been on TMHD. Off to overthrow our AI overlords. You know, I was watching this movie, right? And the whole time, the film had this, like, energy to it. And this, like, I guess, somewhat unmatched imagination. And I was like, this reminds me of something. And then I looked on, like, what reviewers had said about it, and they're like, this movie is kind of like Everything Everywhere All at Once when it comes to imagination. I'm like, yeah, it kind of does. That is the movie I was thinking about. And it's like, man, this movie is just so good, dude. It was so good. I don't know, I know that's like first thoughts after the theater, but dude, it was so good. You just don't understand. You gotta watch the movie, it's so good.